Hi there, it's Brian from Northern Power and Safety Solutions, and I am here with a safety lock, which you probably are familiar with. They come in a variety of different flavors, colors, shapes, and brands. This here is a Bovie, which has kind of an interesting key here, where you have dots and depressions or dimples, if you want to call them that. They don't have like the traditional key that you might see. Makes it nice and smooth. But that is not relevant for what I am going to talk to you about today, which is this, the Lockout ID Smart LOTO Tag system by Northern Power and Safety Solutions. Now, this is a direct replacement for the traditional lotto tags, which you've come to use since the 1980s if you've been in safety and maintenance. Of course, this is completely different and brand new. And Northern Power and Safety Solutions is the only company that has the Smart Lotto Tag system is patent pending. So let's take a look at how we get from here to here. Now we have two different tags. I'm going to put them in this order here, okay? So we have, this is the Lockout ID Generation 2 with NFC tag, and we see that there is actually one major difference here. And the major difference is we have a slot that's vertical on the original first runs, and then the new design, which has a horizontal slot. You can see here that we have a user readable ID. This is perfect for users if you have these on a pegboard or something, and all the worker has to do is remember the 2 or 3 digits, in this case 2 because it's 26 or 147. And they can just go grab their tag off the board, grab a lock like this, and go to town doing work. So I'm going to show you here how we install the Lockout ID Smart Tag on a lock for both this version and that version. Okay, so let's take a look. So we open the lock. You're familiar with doing this. Okay, so I'm going to turn it this way because on the lock we have a piece of this shackle which does not come out. It stays within the lock body. We'll keep that on the left. And then we have this other part on the right that is able to swing, and then it comes into the lock body, and then we use the keep locking. So for the horizontal one, I'm just going to pick up the tag. I'm going to put the slot on there, and I'm going to move this over. You'll see that there is actually a trough, an undercut here, which allows that shackle to come in here easily and be secured. Okay, so that's how you do it. And I'm going to take that off. Now, when you use Lockout ID system, you don't have to waste any zip ties or anything like that. So here on the horizontal, we're just going to, instead of pushing it in, we're just going to slide it over. And the same thing, we do have the cutout. So we're coming in here and we're closing it. Now, both of these tags, whether it is the new version or the older version or the original version, has a 2D printed QR code. This QR code ties this Lockout ID to the Lockout ID Supervisor Cloud Portal. And it doesn't peel off. It's smudge resistant and it won't fade. And of course, Lockout ID is guaranteed. So if this for any reason fades or the hinge breaks, then you can RMA these and get a brand new tag. Another feature, similar to the existing traditional lockout tags that you see, is there are some hash marks here on the side. Ours are colored red, and you can see here that they are raised. So we have raised hash marks on the side and a raised danger. These are all in red. And as you see here, this is very compact to the lock body that it's on. It's not as bulky as your traditional lockout tags are. On the backs of all of these Lockout ID Generation 2 tags are our NFC tags. On the second version here that's horizontal, there actually is a well in which this chip will sit. On the first versions, it is just surface mounted here. Now, what is this for? The NFC tag for here is shift status. So let's take a look at shift status. It's the same technology that you use on your credit cards when you pay remotely. So all we do is we tap our phone and we click. And what we're going to find out here is that this particular tag hasn't been onboarded, so nothing happens. We just get a message that says that we need to have this onboarded tag. Not a problem. Let's see if this tag is onboarded. This also has NFC, so we're going to tap that tag. And we see that we have this handsome guy here is on shift. We see that this is tag 20147. We can see here clearly. Because there's a light on here, it might not be as clear, but it's 20147. We see off shift. This is a darker colored background. And what this functionality of the tag does for us is it actually replaces the handwritten sign in, sign out logs that you might be keeping right now. Because every time, you can see the color better here with the dim screen, because every time that you scan on shift and off shift, the tag is already aware of all of the worker information, who they are, what their number is, what they're working on, what shift they're on, and what company they're working for. And it also knows what time it is. So that audit log is going to be perfect to keep track, better than a sign-in log. You don't need a single pencil or a pen. Let's take a look and see what it looks like to go on shift with this. Now I'm going to just tap again. And what we're going to do here is we're going to see the same picture. See if we can see it better. We'll wait till that dims so you can see it better on this camera. But we do see clearly the name of the person. And right here is the tag number. And we see on shift. The on shift tap for shift status is a bright yellow background. And it does say on shift. So it is obvious which one you are doing. Again, when we go on shift or off shift with lockout ID and shift status, all of the user information, there we go, we can see the great yellow. It's very bright. And we see that lockout ID number. So that's lockout ID. That is shift status, which is a feature of this tag. And we did see the two different varieties of this tag. We have the vertical and the horizontal. If you place new orders, you are most likely going to be getting the horizontal orientation, but they both work the same way. Now, Lockout ID was created, is manufactured, and is supported all within the United States. And we're really proud of that. Our tags are manufactured in Utah, and they were designed in Massachusetts. We would love for you to try out Lockout ID today in place of your next manual tag order. If you head over to a website at www.lockoutids.com, there is a convenient cost calculator that will allow you to see just how much money you'll save in 1 year, 3 years, and 5 years by switching to Lockout ID instead of traditional tags, which you throw away. Please take a look at our other videos to see how the operator and supervisor portals work and all of the other great features that we have from Northern Power and Safety. Be safe out there.